just the idea of being in California makes me a communist. Is what
That's good. I like that.
one guy got. I remember, I'll never forget being criticized in Wilmington, North California. What the fuck are you guys doing taking hikes? And I was just like, man, like Americans, you gotta just like you gotta no walking.
I get it.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't take a hike. What are you walking for? Oh, just to have the walk. Hit him with a car. He's useless. You don't know. You have too much time in your hands if you're just walking to walk. Why don't you walk towards a bucket? Carry the bucket back here. Give me some water.
That is true. You do exclusively drink well water, which is the they say you take the boy out of the small town. You can't take small town out of the boy. You know what I mean?
That is a weird brag that definitely the farmer side of my family has. Is like, we got well water, buddy. Where it's like, okay, I don't know what the difference is. You're putting a lot of faith in the fact that I know the difference.
Hey, I like to taste dirt when I'm getting refreshed. Anyway, life is pain. All right.
Frogs didn't make me gay. Channing Tatum did, buddy. I got well water.
Let me say this right now.
Magic Mike gave me a double XL long before they named the third movie that. Tell you that.
Exactly. Oh, you think I'm worried about some fucking frogs? Let me tell you what got my dick hard. Me and the wife decided to hot wife. Guy came over. I pushed her aside. Let me just say this. I'm very happy now.
Yeah, he really respects me more.
Yeah, we have open dialogue of communication with my ex-wife. I would say she's my best friend, but I live above the garage and she is in the main house, and sometimes I hear her just scream.
Yeah, I don't want her anything to do with her dirt pussy. That was I think I've told you that where there's a very funny comedian Adrian Kronk. I think I've told you this. Came up with a wrestling character where a guy got probed but loved it. And then he's a heel now, and his catchphrase is "Earth pussy is a dirt pussy." And his manager is like someone who he acts as like a super hot lady, but it's literally just an amorphous blob. It would just be a frozen thing of Jello that he's like, I can't wait to get home and fuck Blee Blumstein or whatever.
I just want to say this: there was a real brief window that was closed by way too many dirty touchers being involved, which was the sweet spot of millennial irony between 2011 2013, where it was like just the right amount. Like you had to have been a nerd to get all the references. And you know what I mean? And like the wrestling was so good. Like it was Chikara before everyone was like, Mike Quackenbosch is history's greatest monster. Like it was just like everything was like, oh, the Nerdist was a really fun, interesting way to hear Ozzy Osbourne. Oh, and by the way, Chris Hardwick is also history's greatest monster. Like it was just like this weird, perfect window, and something like that wrestling character would exactly be then. And oh my god. And also then he would have 2 5-star matches in Ring of Honor against Kevin Steen, and now be in AEW, and he's so you know what I'm saying? That's how like,
yeah, it is. It's difficult. No,
he's what I was gonna say, and we don't care.
That is I was thinking about that the other day about how like millennials like us, we have that thing where it's kind of the unity of people who watch TV from 11 p.m. till 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's
and like
right.
weren't wasted, and then all the nerds like us knew all these references, so we would like communicate through those. But now there's just way too many things.
It's one of those things where basically, like, how do I know you're an elder millennial? Well, I say the name Duckman, and you're like, yeah, I watched cartoons after midnight in 1999.
Yeah, exactly. I know those shows. They go like, or the pattern of reruns where it's like, oh, they showed this rerun at 4 p.m. on Omni. They're going to show that same rerun at 11 p.m. on Fox.
Yeah, I got news for you. If let me put it this way: if you were part of the group that owned Family Guy on DVD and The Chappelle Show on DVD, we are of the same generation. That is such a tip of the spear millennial time where it's like we basically we made it so show business got so much money. They had 3 extra revenue streams, and now literally they're like, we don't know how to make a movie for anything less than $100 million.
Yeah, and also I did this thing where I was watching a lot of YouTube video essays, and then I stopped doing that and watched real, actual things that were produced, and those are much better.
Yeah. Although I don't know, social media is like
it's just so much the snake eating its own tail, where now it's like guys doing video essays complaining about guys doing video essays, or like and I knew it would happen, but still the idea of a podcast about a podcaster is fucking crazy. And there's a guy who has like a very successful YouTube channel that is just him complaining about, like, he wouldn't call it that, but it's like just him complaining about Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer.
There's sir, there are 5 of those, and I got news for you right here. I can't miss a video. They're fantastic.
Well, it's also like everything has become wrestling, where it's like, oh, I hate this, and you're like, why don't you stop watching it? Because it's what I watch. Well, why don't you find something else you like? Because I don't have any ideas.
Because what it is 38 or everything is pro wrestling or the 2016 presidential election, which is everything now just has a 10% of its base of fans that are like, I'm just here to watch the world burn. I'm like, bro, we're bronies. Like, this doesn't need to be negative. And it's like, fuck glitter mains. You have a consistent color from the Roy G. Biv spectrum for your main as a brony, or you're a fucking pedophile. Like, that's everything is that. Everything has that like 10% segment where it's like, wow. And it's very funny is what it is I think that all of those people always existed, but they were caged in internet forums. And now internet forums are just social media.
It was,
so you see it. Like, that's
those people. You see it. Like those people were newsletter people in the 80s, and now they've broken out of newsletters, and that should have never happened. They were in the purgatory of newsletters.
Those people should have been in chain emails, just like resending them to each other. But that's the thing is, it's like, oh, I'm a shithead 28-year-old and I want to be a billionaire. I'm gonna inadvertently just showcase like all sides of the human experience that we didn't need to know. You know what I mean? Like, let me put this, I got news for you. Stepdads always thought the earth was flat and were a bit so-so when it came to Jews. But here's the thing. You just avoided those topics because you're like, this guy just constantly drying his hands in a driveway. I'm not going to fucking talk politics with him. But now because of stupid social media and like you're fucking inadvertently followed him on Instagram, you're like, this fucking guy will not stop banging on about how it should be legal for him to shoot jaywalkers near his house or whatever insanity is going on. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of good stuff that those people, like the public, I was thinking about this too. The immediate public airing of all emotions you have is something that our generation has contributed to the internet. And I think that's good. Maybe it's more Gen Xers. I don't think Gen Xers get enough flack, but it's like as soon as you're going through something, it's now your entire social media presence where it's like those things where you can put like emojis as the background, but the text is like, fucking carry on, Brenda, with your bullshit. I don't care how many guys you fuck. I'll still be here because I'm loyal or something.
I also like, by the way, that the emotions are spread over different social media accounts. You know what I mean? Like Facebook now has really become just like an old.
Facebook is the best one.
Go ahead. I mean, it is in a weird way in that I feel like Facebook all had a spell on us for a while and it's kind of been pierced. And so now everyone is just kind of like, holy fuck, let's go see what my ex is.
Here's why Facebook is good.
Go ahead.
Every other social media site is just people trying to get famous. Facebook is just people settling scores.
That's correct.
I don't want you to be famous. I want you to be like, I was at a bake sale. One of those cookies tasted like shit. Why don't they give an award for worst baker? You know what I mean?
That's 100%.
Go into a community group. It's just people being like,
you're
they haven't fixed the fucking crosswalk. Like, I'm in community groups because, like, fucking
Dylan,
my wife is involved in the vintage thing and she always wants to go to these vintage pop-ups, which are nice. You find some old shirts but that is 4% of what is posted in these groups. 96% is just people settling scores, and I couldn't.
You understand that I am still in my old apartment's Facebook group because
those are the best.
Oh my God.
That is just score settling.
Right after I left, a guy on my floor, I know who the guy was. He was like one of those really intense sober guys. Anyway, he relapsed on meth. And I know that because when I like swung by to pick up something, I like went by I went to go get something from the person who was in my apartment. I swung by and he had set up 2 cameras in his apartment hallway. And I was like, oh, that's not going to end well. And then I literally watched that night as people rallied together and then ripped those cameras off his fucking tour. And we're talking photographs. We're talking he is inside the apartment communicating to them via the Facebook group. How dare you touch my property? And someone responded right underneath, you put it in the hallway, it's our property, which I was like, interesting perspective.